Hey guys, finally doing my January wrap up. But things have been slow going over here for many reasons. So a few people entered my giveaway from December, which thankfully I wrote down this time. Kitchen Curse. I did not write down the author name or title, so I've got some people in here. So let's see. Who is the winner? Stephanie! Ms. Wow. Miss Richards reads, Stephanie on the YouTube. Another Stephanie. I will link her channel below too so you can check her out. But yes, Stephanie, send me your, I might already actually have your info, but that's okay. We'll see. So congratulations. Yay. Thanks everyone for entering. I almost didn't want to do a giveaway for January because there was nothing that like really, wowed me. I had a lot of good reads, just good, nothing great. But that's okay. We'll start with my DNFs. I DNF'd, well, I guess one is probably more of an unhaul and one is a DNF. I finally decided to just call it quits in The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. I read another one of his books last year for an IRL book club, the one about Churchill, the name of which I'm forgetting right now. But anyways, everyone knows this book. This is like one of the most popular nonfiction books that exists. Probably it's about the Chicago World Fair and also some serial killer that was on the loose who had like this wild house that I don't know if you watch, if you that I'm talking to watch American Horror Story, but one of the seasons of American Horror Story was based on him and his creepy ass house or hotel or whatever. So yeah, I just, again, it does the thing. I feel like how many times can I say the same thing? But it does the thing in nonfiction that I hate, where the author is trying to like draw me in. He's trying to like create this kind of narrative and try to lead us. And, he's doing cliffhangers and lots of like, oh, but who could have known that this was going to happen? And like, little did they know that blah, blah, blah. It's just a nonfiction book. Just give me the facts and move on. If I wanted a fiction book, I would have read a fiction book. Okay. So I just don't get it. I do think the other one that I read of his, like I was able to get through it. It didn't annoy me very much, but this, it just really, really annoyed me. I'm trying to find something that's like specific. Burnham now possessed a formal authority to begin building a fair, but he still had no place to put it. Like, I don't know. It's just like, shut up. Please, just shut up. And I know everyone loves this book and whatever. I don't care. And then I also just decided to Girl with a Pearl Earring by Tracy Chevalier. I had to read one of her books for BookTube Prize like 2 years ago or something like that, and I just did not like it. It was a single woman or something like that. I have no idea. A single man, no, a single woman, I think. Anyways, I did not like it, and this is her most famous book, so I was like, oh, let me try. And then, just right away, I'm just, it's probably not that bad, but I don't want it. I don't want to read it. Okay, so, and again, the rest of my books are basically all like 3.5 stars, and that's kind of it. I will start with my 2.5 stars. I read 2 poetry magazines in January: Poetry February 2020 and Poetry December 2021. I will show you, I guess, my favorite ones. There's definitely always ones that I really like. But in general, poetry is just like not super my thing. So then you're probably like, Stephanie, why are you subscribed to a poetry magazine? Great question. I'm a hopeful person, and I'm like, maybe. And there are things in here that I have found that I have just absolutely loved. And so I have gone for them. If I can remember to, when I post this, find these and link them below, I will try to, because I only circle them if I love them, because I really like, what am I supposed to do? Keep all of these forever? No. Or like look into every single poet. No. Then I don't even remember how I rated any of these things, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna say Queer was my least favorite book, probably. Queer by William S. Burroughs, and I think I gave it 3 stars. I don't remember. This apparently was not published. It says On the back for more than 3 decades, while its writer's world fame increased, Queer remained unpublished. So, but Naked Lunch was published, and Naked Lunch is like a really messed up book. I don't know if you've read it. Yeah, it's very upsetting. And just like hard to read. It's also hard to read. This is not hard to read. This is like pretty easy and straightforward. We're just following a dude who's in Mexico who is gay and has like longings for men. And there's like one guy in particular that he like really fancies, and it's just like not great. And you get that it's not great because like the guy does not fancy him this in the same way. And like I think that our protagonist is maybe older than this other guy too, and there's lots of stuff going on. It's definitely, I'm gonna say probably misogynistic. I actually don't really remember reading this, but I feel like it was misogynistic. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. No offense to the Burroughs estate. And yeah, it was I'm not upset that I read it. I again don't really quite remember much about it. I do feel like I remember like this weird, like, you do feel for him, this like longing sensation of like wanting someone and, kind of it not working out the way you would like it to. I feel like we've all had that feeling at some point or another. So, there's some stuff to relate to, but in general, like, I don't know. There's probably much more interesting books being written. I mean, I guess, if you want to read all the beats and you want to, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know when I bought this book, if I bought it new or used or anything. So again, just like it was fine. Solid 3-star read. It was okay. Then my next two books are like neck and neck. But I'm going to put this one lower just because it really required like no effort at all. And that is Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. I finally am on the Heartstopper train. This is definitely not the type of book that I normally read, aka cutesy, really sweet, adorable, romantic kind of crap. Not my vibe. I like, dirtier, naughtier, weirder crap. But I had it, and so I decided to read it. And my brother-in-law and his girlfriend really liked the TV show, so I was like, oh, if I'm gonna watch the show, then I probably want to read the graphic novel first. And it was so cute. It takes literally no time to read, okay? There is like no words on these pages, okay? All of the pictures are very big, and there's just no words. There's no words. But it still like really hits you. So it is very impressive, I guess, that you can, write something that has very little words and still be extremely emotionally impactful. It's really funny because I literally just finished Heartstopper Volume 2 before I started filming this. So I've got like, the feels. This, obviously, I'm not a gay teenage boy, but we've all had that feeling, when you like someone so much and just like the interactions and like, oh, do they like me? I don't know. But like you're having like cute flirty texts and like wanting to spend time and that spark, that like there's this spark, I don't know, between the ages of 14 and 16, when you like someone and you like accidentally touch or something like that, there's just this spark that happens that like makes you feel like your insides are gonna melt away. That just like, it literally never happens again in your life. Like, who feels that way as an adult? Nobody. It's a very specific, like your hormones are just wild and on all of this stuff. So it's touching on that like in such an intense way. But then you have this added layer of, our main character, Charlie, being, out and gay, and the guy that he likes is Nick, and he's like this popular guy on their rugby team who's like apparently straight because he's only, been with chicks. And so just like kind of that like extra hurdle of, liking someone, but not knowing if they're, going to reciprocate that because you don't know if their sexuality aligns with yours or whatever. So it's super, super, super relatable, and it like is almost cringy because you're just like remembering yourself as a teen having that like crush on your friend and not knowing if they have a crush on you too. And it's like really But then also, again, you've got this added layer. So it was really well done. It was really cute. 3.5 stars. Like, I'm definitely going to finish the rest of the series. I mean, I just finished volume 2, so obviously I'm going to keep going. And then the other one that, like, it's kind of tied, I guess, with is After Dark by Haruki Murakami. And this is translated by, Jay Rubin. And this, I think, also is 3.5 stars. And again, the only reason that I'm like inching this slightly above Heartstopper is just because it requires like some actual work. And so I feel like bad for some reason putting it below Heartstopper, because Heartstopper was extremely easy to read. Yeah, so in this book it's one night. I forget at what point in the night we start. It looks like it's close to midnight. Each chapter has a little clock, and tells you kind of what time it is. I already did a review for this I believe it was in January. Sorry, I just got a little out of breath. It might have been in February. I don't know, but I'll link it below. This was a reread for me. I read it in 2012. It was my first Haruki Murakami book. I thought it was okay, and it had been my least favorite Haruki Murakami book that I had read, and it still probably is my least favorite fiction of his that I've read, but I definitely liked it a lot more on a reread. And it's not quite as weird as I thought it was the first time that I read it. So it is funny, obviously, every time that we pick up a book, we're a different reader because we've had different life experiences and different books in between. So again, I'll link my like longer review below so you can listen to it or watch it if you want to. Then we have Early Light by Osamu Dazai, and this is one of those very cute, like the storybook from New Directions. And this, I think it might have different translators. It's 3 different stories. So it says it's translated by Ralph McCarthy and Donald Keene. And so it has, does it even say what the stories are called? Early Light, 100 Views of Mount Fuji, and A Villain's Wife. I think Early Light was the most like emotionally impactful one. I wish I had talked about this when I read it because it's so tiny. So like, do I remember much? Not a ton. But Early Light was very, very touching. It's about a family during World War II. And I think the dad not being able maybe to like make ends meet or provide or protect his family in like the way that he wished that he could. So him feeling like a let down and like he's not, he's not fulfilling like his own like idea of what he should be doing. In 100 Views of Mount Fuji, it says even there, it's much more comic. So yeah, it's, just talking about Mount Fuji. It's a guy who I think he joins like, I don't know if it's like a monk place, a place with monks or priests, Buddhist priests or something. He goes to some kind of place and he's just like obsessed with looking at the mountain. And that's the one that I remember the least about, to be honest. And then the last one, Villain's Wife, and it's pronounced spelled Villon. There's a drunkard's wife. So it says a drunkard's wife transforms herself into a woman not to be defeated by anything. So, oh my gosh. Excuse me. So basically, he is like throwing all their money away on drink and possibly gambling. I don't 100% remember. And she finds a way to like fix everything. So that one I thought was really funny. Again, I don't remember a ton about it because it's super tiny. Again, there's 3 stories in less than 100 pages and 72 pages, I guess. Yeah, 72 pages. So divide that by 3. It just, it didn't stay in my brain for a long time. But I did really, really like this when I read it. And obviously I'm a sucker for, cute packaging, which this clearly is. I want all of the storybook books. And then my favorite book, and the book that I will be giving a copy away of, is Phantomalia by Elena Ferrante. And this is translated by probably actually multiple people because it's a selection of lots of letters and stuff, which actually brings me to one of the things that I'm irritated about in this book, is that all of the letters and stuff that are done, so they're from all over the world, basically. So this is a collection of interviews and letters between Elena Ferrante and different people, different, magazine people. What do you call those? I guess a journalist. And so some of them are from Germany, some of them are from Spain, some of them are from wherever, and not all of them have translators listed. So I'm trying to find yeah, so the interview with Arnie Mathiasen appeared on August 16th, 2015 in the Daily Morgunblaðið from Iceland, and then with the title, but it doesn't have who translated originally for them from Icelandic to Italian, because I don't think that she speaks Icelandic, and then who translated that interview into English. Like, that's not here. So I don't know if it's just because it was like too difficult because there's too many pieces, but that did kind of bother me. There were some translators mentioned, but it was just when it was translated from Italian specifically into English directly, and that was it. So that annoyed me. But in general, I did really, really like this. I love her and her brain so much. There were so many moments in here where I was just like, yes, you tell him, girl, you tell him. But it's super, super repetitive. I mean, not super, super repetitive, just like super repetitive. So I would maybe suggest, if you pick this up, like interspersing it for a long period of time and not just sitting down and reading it in one go. But there are some, people like put tabs in books. I have done that too, but I used like washi tape and I folded it. I don't like the look of the tab sticking out. It really bothers me because that's the part that goes into the bookcase, and then it will like get bent. So that bothers me. So I've just put washi and I folded it over. There was a couple of things that I wanted to read to you that I just like loved, because everyone is obsessed with the fact that she's not like saying what her name is. So there's one, and it's really, really funny too, because you can tell based on her responses what she thinks of the person asking the questions and like what the questions are. I mean, maybe not like, I'm sure her opinion of the person is based specifically on what questions they're asking, but some people like are way too aggressively asking about, why she doesn't want to say who she is, and like, how does she feel about that, and like, does she feel like it affects this, blah blah, whatever. So it is very funny. And so I'm just gonna read a couple of things. You write, but less brutally than in my summary. Your book says something to me, but your name says nothing. Question: if my book had said nothing to you and my name had said something, would it have taken you less time to ask for an interview? So good. And then on the back here, for real readers, who wrote it isn't important. I think that readers of a good book hope at most that the author of a good book will continue to work conscientiously and make other good books, which I agree with completely. There were some other ones too. I think it was this last one that I was like, yes. The point is what we tell ourselves about motherhood and child rearing. If we keep talking about it in an idyllic way, as in many handbooks on motherhood, we will continue to feel alone and guilty when we come up against the frustrating aspects of being a mother. The task of a woman writer today is not to stop at the pleasures of the pregnant body, of birth, of bringing up children, but to delve truthfully into the darkest depth. And so there's a lot more stuff in here. She's just brilliant. Like, And there's a lot of questions too about, Naples and like the troubles in Naples and stuff like that. So there was another good one too that I thought was like pretty funny. The obsession that everything should hold together coherently and beautifully seems to me a capital sin against the truth. Totally agree. Violence is an essential trait of the human animal and is always lying in wait. Naples is one of the many places in the world where factors that lead to violence are all present and all ungoverned. Intolerable economic inequalities, poverty that provides manpower to powerful criminal organizations, institutional corruption, the extremely culpable lack of organization of civic life. So yeah, she's just... But it's also a city of spectacular beauty with great traditions belonging to both elite culture and popular culture. So yeah, I don't know. It was really good. Obviously, like I could keep reading bits of it, but that's kind of weird. So yeah, I super recommend this. And again, if you would like to win a copy of it, please tell me in the comments that you'd like to win a copy of it. And then hopefully I will post my February wrap up in 2 weeks. That would be my goal, just so I can like catch up on things. I only read 2 books in February, so it really should not be that difficult. But yeah, that's what I have to talk to you about. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.